On the show today, one of our regular guests of the Engel angle, and of course the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, Mac Engel. Mac, we appreciate you being with us. We are here on the eve of, not the eve technically, but getting close to anyway, the eve of the NBA draft and the Dallas Mavericks having that #1 overall pick. It feels like this is kind of the cathartic moment. Like, it's okay, Mavs fans. Now we can move on and start to think about the future as Cooper Flagg's about to come in the door. Mac, what is your impression of what is to come here for this Mavs organization?
I am really excited. That I want to say this, that you asked me to join you for the last show of the season. Thank you very much. I'm flattered. I realized you probably had to go through no less than 75 other guests before you were like,
72,
just call him.
Something like that, yeah.
Probably more of a commentary on our, situation behind the scenes. But go ahead.
It's all right. It's all good. You picked me. That's great. I'm really excited to see Cooper Flagg play. I really am. But here's the catch, Mike. All he has to do is be as good as Luka Doncic. That's all he has to do. And then this deal was okay. Then it worked out. For whatever reason, for however it happened, if Cooper Flagg, who played 1 year of college basketball and looked great doing it, if he is as good as Luka Doncic, then it worked out. What are the chances of that happening?
Listen, I don't think the chances of that are outrageously high because Luka Doncic is one of the 4 to 5 best players on the planet. And to expect that of a kid who doesn't turn 19 until late December of this year is an awful lot to put on this kid's shoulders. I think he has potential to be a very, very good NBA player, very possibly one of the top 5 or 10 players in the league. I think his ceiling is that high. It's incumbent upon him to hit that ceiling. I do think as it relates to the potential for him to hit that ceiling, this is a kid who, by all accounts, anybody who's ever been close to this dude says he is unbelievably determined and persistent and just will outwork everybody. So whatever juice there is to squeeze, he's going to get every drop.
Well, let me ask you this. Does he have to be as good as Luka to warrant to say the trade was a wash and that it all worked out in the end? Does he have to be? To me, he does. To me, he's got to be at least that level of production, or at least in that area, and the team has similar success, if not greater, to say, okay, Nico, okay, Mavs, it all worked out.
I think in order for, I think your question presupposes that Nico Harrison or anybody in the Mavs front office deserves credit for a couple of ping pong.
Right, exactly.
Oh, they don't.
Right.
This has nothing to do with them. So right. I don't know that it's necessary. I think that what the Mavs winning the draft lottery allows for now is for Mavs fans to not have to hate watch this team in 2029. Because that's what, I mean, like, they were going to have 2 or 3 years. Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, if they could both stay healthy and play together, there was going to be a window of time where this team was going to be able to at least compete, if not potentially contend, if it all came together the right way. Yep. But then they had nothing after that. Right. Now they do. So I think that's really the biggest shift for me is now you've got reason to hope for 2029 and 2031. You've got reason to hope that Lakers pick in 2031 is actually worthwhile. To me, he doesn't have to be. I guess to answer your question, no. I don't think he has to be Luka good for this to ultimately work out. And I don't think, frankly, that the fact that the Mavs won the draft lottery should change Mavs fans' opinions about Nico or the front office either.
So let me jump in here and say the bar that Luka left, as much as it is great from an offensive perspective and a day-to-day excellence perspective, like he gave us incredible memories, there wasn't an MVP, there wasn't an NBA title. Cooper Flagg is on a team that, by all accounts, from the 3 quarters that we got out of it last year, that everyone keeps saying can build up toward that. And there won't be as much pressure on him because he's falling in behind guys that have experience in those situations. Even with Kyrie injured, if he comes back midway late toward the end of the season, that team is still going to be at least relatively competitive in an up and down Western Conference, and we'll delve more into the conference here in a little bit. I just mean that I don't feel like the pressure will be on Flagg early in his career. It'll be on later, once a lot of these older guys flesh out. But at least for the short term, he's got a chance to really kind of establish himself with the weight of the world not necessarily hanging on it. He's going to feel like it is because, as Max has been pointing out, it's like he's going to feel like he has to fit into Luka's shoes. But Luka only put, realistically, one trophy case in the entire collection around here. So I don't necessarily think it's asking a lot to sit there and think, can you make it back to the Western Conference Final and do well? I feel like that's at least a reasonable way to look at the first couple of years of his term here in Dallas.
I think when you look at Flagg or any rookie, when was the last time an NBA rookie walked through the door and really was a significant difference maker on that team in an extended playoff run? I can't think of them. I mean,
Yeah, when you add the categorization of in an extended playoff run, there's not many. Yeah.
No, there's not. So that's not going to be next season. Michael Jordan didn't do it. Luka didn't do it. Dirk didn't do it. LeBron didn't do it.
Right.
So this team next season is Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving with a helping aside of Cooper Flagg. Best case scenario.
I think that there is potential here, as much as I don't give credit to Nico Harrison for the 4 ping pong balls. I think there is potential for the Mavs winning this draft lottery to end up with Nico Harrison looking smart. Even though it may not necessarily be his doing, I think Cooper Flagg fits a lot of what he stated when he made the trade that he wanted. Cooper Flagg is an outrageously good defender. He may not step in the door and be an offensive major difference. He's not going to shoot 15, 20 shots a game. He's not going to be the focal point of the offense. He's going to step in the door and be a difference maker on the defensive end of the floor. And he's going to step in the door being a guy that plays at 11 nonstop. Those are two things that are very high on the Nico Harrison desire list, and he's going to make those two things look really good. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of being a GM in any of these leagues is on some level luck. He lucked into the number 1 pick, and he lucked into a guy that is going to play his brand of basketball at a really high level.
And sometimes it just depends on the moves you make, specifically what we just saw today with Kevin Durant and the Rockets. We'll touch on that and the changing Western Conference coming up next on the Ultimate Dallas Sports Show. The other major headline is Kevin Durant going from the Suns to the Rockets, which, of course, you would think tilts the balance at least a little bit in the Western Conference, considering where the Rockets were last year. You had an elite offensive talent onto that roster, regardless of how old he is at this point. So where do the Mavs sit, I think, is the best question. What's a reasonable expectation for where this team starts out, even like at the halfway point of the season? Where should we expect them to be?
Let me ask you a question to the two of you guys real quick, just to piggyback off the Kevin Durant of it all. Is he the centerpiece of a championship caliber team anymore? Like, I know the Rockets went for broke here, but I don't know that he's that guy anymore.
Right.
No, he's 30. I mean,
he's really good. He's been a fantastic player through his career. Don't get me wrong. But at this point,
how many games do you think he played this season? 24, 25. How many games? I'm looking at it now, so I'm cheating. How many games would you expect he played?
42.
Oh, he went for the under. 62.
62. Okay.
And I'm looking at his games played over the last several years, and I don't think anybody would look at Kevin Durant and think, oh, this guy's mailing it in. And I'm not thinking he is. But if you look at the games played, other than 2 seasons ago in Phoenix, where he played 75, this guy's not even playing 70 games anymore. Now, I understand the bar for these guys in the regular season is embarrassingly low, but he's not that guy anymore. He really hasn't been that guy since a little bit of a spurt when he was in Brooklyn. And I'm just shocked. I'm not surprised that the Rockets retooled or giving up Dylan Brooks. I am stunned they gave up Jalen Green. Right. That's the one I'm like, you're giving up, like, what is it about this guy you don't like? And then 8,000 draft picks. No, I just don't look at.
Don't bring up the draft picks in Dallas, man.
We don't want to go there.
At that sort.
I mean, Desmond Bane got 50 draft picks in return, and Luka got 1. No, the part that gets me is that why are you going for broke around a guy who is 37 years old? I don't think anybody's doubting his care, his commitment, or his professionalism, or even his ability to score. But I'm sorry, 37's 37.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and it's almost a little bit weird, and just for me personally, it's weird to critique him on the defensive side when his co-stars are Devin Booker and Beasley. Like those two specifically, or Beal, excuse me.
Yeah.
So those two, I mean, like, if he's got no one around him on the wing to try and to perimeter defend, but that was Houston's strength this last year. So at least on some level, you're sitting there thinking maybe we lose a little bit defensively with Brooks gone, but we bring in Durant, and now all of a sudden we have an occasional flamethrower that can go off for 30. And, oh, by the way, maybe impart some of his tricks on the young guns on the roster.
You know, as good as Houston was this season, and I think they exceeded all expectations, and you're talking about where the Mavs sort of potentially sit in that, let's say, 8-team, model, so to speak. Are they better than Oklahoma City? No. Are they better than Minnesota? Probably not. I mean, I'm thinking 6, 7, best case. And best case means Kyrie Irving comes back late January and looks like Kyrie Irving in March, and Anthony Davis plays at a high level and remains healthy. And Cooper Flagg is a good rookie. Okay, that's a lot to expect.
So how much does the parity of the NBA switch things up? Because again, we've got 6 seeds competing for the Western Conference Final. We've got lower seeds battling for the NBA Finals more recently. Heck, an 8th seed made it to the NBA Finals a couple of years ago.
With the Heat,
so on some level, like, getting in is meant more now than it ever has before. So even if Kyrie comes back and switches things up a little bit, we're glossing over a long season in which these guys are injury prone and all that kind of stuff. So I'm aware we're kind of punching a hole for them that doesn't necessarily exist yet.
Mike, when I look at this, you're talking about parity, which to me I've enjoyed. And I understand there's a lot of benefit when you're a league and you've got a dominant dynasty team to sell, like the Warriors or the Bulls or the Kobe Lakers or things like that. We don't have that right now. We don't. And to me, I kind of enjoy that. But if that's the way, look, we're not giving Oklahoma City its due. That's a really young team, and they're going to be together for a while. So how do the Mavs crack that shell, or even Minnesota to some degree? Because that's a pretty young team as well. I just look at it, this window, the way they've built this team around 2 older guys who are terrific players. It could happen. I mean, those guys are really, really good. So it could happen. The thing that's always made me nervous about it, and that trade from day one, is banking on it. And there's one guy in this we haven't even acknowledged, and that is Luka Doncic and how he overtakes Los Angeles, and whether or not the humiliation of being traded because he was a fat guy and out of shape and drinks more beer than water serves as a motivation to prove Nico Harrison and the Mavs were dead wrong.
I'm going to edit that and move our faces away from. I'm kidding.
We are talking about a young man's league, though, at this point. Look at the Thunder, look at the Pacers, look at the Timberwolves, even the Knicks to a certain extent. These are young teams that ended up in the Final Four in the NBA. The Mavs are not a young team the way that they are presently constructed, nor, I mean, even add Cooper Flagg's very young age into the mix, they're still on average going to be one of the older teams in the Western Conference. It's not hard to wonder, to your point, can you hold up over that 82-game season? And even if you do, can you hold up over a 25 or whatever game playoff run? It's a lot to ask of these older legs.